Hello, welcome back. My name is Monica, and this is, if you don't know, this is the place where I talk about all the things that I'm passionate about, like movies, books, TV shows, science, etc., etc. And today I've decided to talk to you about the new Netflix show, Shadow and Bone, because you know what, everyone seems to be talking about it. It's like everyone and their mother knows about this on the internet, like everyone's obsessed with it. But in real life, I actually have not met a single person that has seen it, which is crazy because it's such a good show. Spoiler alert, it's a great show. Anyways, I wanted to talk about it because I am one of those people that have not read the books. I know, it's a sin. It's a sin. It's a sin. I know. I'm a book reader. I love books, and I haven't read the books before I watched the show. I know, terrible. I actually have the books. You can kind of see them there. There we go. There's three of them. They're all there. I don't have the duology yet, but I'm gonna buy it as well. The six of Crows duology. I'm buying that too. But yes, let's talk about the show. So, if you haven't seen it yet, it's this new Netflix show called Shadow and Bone, and it's based on a trilogy of books. The first one with the same name, written by Lee Bardugo. These books are about a girl, and they are from her perspective as far as I know, about a girl who basically discovers that she's the god or like a saint that everyone has been waiting for. She has this power of summoning light. And in this world there is this massive like shadow wall, which is called the Fold, and it's kind of dividing the country into west and east. It's really hard to cross the Fold because there's these creatures called Volcra inside it, and they will kill you. They will kill you, believe me. They're very scary. Yes, and this Fold was created by someone called the Dark Heretic, and yes, he was like one of the kind of magicians. They're not really magicians. In this universe, there's people who have like magical powers, but they call it little science. So it's they can basically control elements and like more like kind of scientific things. So like some control fire, some control wind. There's a group called Harrenders that controls like your bodily functions, so they can like stop your heart, for example. But yeah, so there's all kinds. And then there was one time there was a guy who had the power of summoning shadows, and he created this Fold, right? And yeah, so she basically the main character. She her name is Lina, and she by a an accident almost, she gets put into a situation where she's in the Fold, and that's how she discovers that she has these powers of summoning light, which is something that everyone's been waiting for, because only the Sun Summoner, aka someone who can, summon light, can destroy the Fold. And that's where we start. And there's a lot of other characters. There's this whole other plot line as well, which is kind of going simultaneously at the same time on the other side of the world, about a heist. There's this group of people. There's three of them. There's Jesper, Inesh, and Kaz, and they basically get a job for 1,000,000 Kruger, which is a currency in that part of the world, to get our Sun Summoner. Basically, they have to kidnap the Sun Summoner. They have to kidnap Alina. So this is where the story starts, and we go from there. And oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. Oh my god, I loved it. Okay, I have to admit, I loved it so much. I'm obsessed. I am obsessed. It's so good. Right. So let's start with just the basics. It is gorgeous. So they must have clearly gotten a really big budget, because everything in the show looks great. They have beautiful costumes. The CGI looks quite good. The Fold looks amazing, and the Volcra as well. The creatures, they look so good. They're very scary, and yeah, I believe in it. Like they invited me to this world and I was in. I heard that some people say that they had a hard time getting into it if they haven't read the books, because of all the different factions and the divided world, and these people called Grisha, which are the magicians that I talked about earlier. And yeah, and for me it was not that hard. I don't know why, because maybe because I read a lot of fantasy, so for me, like, being bombarded with words and names and different political states and that kind of stuff is not as uncommon. So when they did, I did find it a bit of the exposition was sometimes done in a weird way, where it was just like a flashback and it was like, oh, your parents died in the fall. I was like, oh, okay, her parents died in the fall, but what is the fall? And then they were just like kind of showing it on the map, and eventually I can't speak, oh my god. Eventually you start to understand it. But I didn't have a very hard time getting into it. Like, I find it quite easy to digest. I think it's mostly because it's not really like high fantasy. It's based on like YA books, and that's another reason why I did not read them. So basically, when the books came out, I was already really into adult fiction, so I thought they were just too much of a for a much younger audience. So I just never got to them. I heard really good things about Six of Crows duology, and I really wanted to read that, just never found the time. And now the show came out, and I really liked it. Now I wanna read the books first and then read the duology as well. So I will read them, I promise. But anyways, yeah. So we have beautiful cinematography, really good costumes, all that stuff. But we also have really good actors in it. Guys, the acting is so good. It is so good. Every person really embodies their character, if that makes any sense. You can tell that they did the work, that they probably read the books, that they know what they're supposed to be doing, and they're all so charismatic, apart from maybe one person, but we'll get to that in a bit. Everyone in this show just has so much charisma, and especially the crows. The crows are like show stealers, and Milo. I love Milo. Everyone loves Milo. Milo's the best. Milo's a goat, okay? He's a goat and he stole the show. But anyways, we'll also get to my favorites in a second. But let's just get everything else out of the way first. So yeah, this show has a very interesting story as well. So we have great characters, obviously, but the characters need to follow some kind of story, and the story is really good. It's quite simple, really, but I like how it's not like black or white. So all characters are kind of morally gray. Even our heroine, even though she's supposed to be good, completely good, she's not. She's not. We'll talk about that in a second as well, because oh my god, I'm not a big fan of Alina. But yes, the story unfolds in a very natural way. It gets from point A to B to C, D, E, and it makes sense. Okay, everything makes sense. And for someone who has not read the books, I was not surprised with what was happening. I was okay. So I kind of predicted everything, but I wasn't it didn't take the fun away from it. So it was quite predictable, but it wasn't, in a bad way. It wasn't predictable in a bad way. It was just, it's a kind of, this story already. It's about a hero, someone who suddenly finds they're the person that needs to save the world. And we all know this story already. But it's a really good story anyways. And I think I'm gonna get to spoilers a little bit right now. So if you haven't seen the show, go watch it. Please go watch it. If you like fantasy, if you like very pretty people, if you like watching pretty people on screen, go watch it. If you think that you like kind of action movies, you like a bit of drama, go watch it too, because it has everything. It has drama, it has action, and it has a bit of romance, And yeah, it has everything. Okay, it has a bit of comedy as well. Like, I was really surprised, but it was quite funny most of the time, especially with the crows. Especially Jesper, one of the crows. The people that do the heist. For those of you that don't know what crows are, yeah, he was really funny, and yeah, we'll get to that bit as well because I have a bit of a shout out to the guy that plays Jesper. But anyway, so we're gonna get to spoilers now. So if you haven't seen the show, go watch it and then come back to this bit so we can, go crazy over what's happened there. And yes, okay. So first of all, let's talk about Mal and the Darkling, because everyone seems to be in either one camp or the other. Everyone either loves Mal and hates the Darkling, or the opposite. There's some people that are like in the middle, like both of them. But I feel like, yeah, there's two ships there. There's people who ship Alina with Mal, and there's people who ship Alina with the Darkling. And if like the way I look like a bit edgy didn't tell you that I am studying the Darkling, I'm telling you now. The Darkling stole my heart and just crushed it, but like in a good way. I love him. He's so good. Oh my god. I mean, what did we expect? He's played by Ben Barnes, and he's so hot. Like the first time he enters, like you see him from like the back, and that's already, like he's important. But when he enters the room in that scene where he cuts Alina's arm, it's like, my god, he owns that room. He owns that room. He knows he's hot. He knows he has power. Yes, okay, I am here for it. I am so here for it. I loved it. Yeah, he owns me now. I love the Darkling. Yeah, so yeah, when he entered, the kind of moral compass in my head left the room, because I knew he was a buddy. I knew he would be the villain. Not because I read spoilers or anything, but like you can tell. You can tell just from the way he looks. You can tell straight away that he's gonna be the villain. It's very easy to tell. But oh my god, he's such a great villain though, because he's not that much of a villain, if that makes any sense. He's morally great, and I really understand his choices. Like, the way he does things sometimes is very wrong, like creating the fold. That's probably not the best idea. And the things he does in like the last episode where he puts the collar on Alina and like uses her powers and tries to control her and stuff, that's wrong. And he probably should not go there, and I don't support that, obviously. But the reason why he's doing the things makes sense. Like, his actions are pretty justified, even though they're wrong. They are justified. So like, I understand his reasons, and I think the show did a really good job at showing me that, because as I said, I didn't read the books. I didn't know his backstory or whatever he's gonna do later. So I heard that in the books he's a lot darker. So like, there's a lot of things that have been added to the show, like consent, for example, that are not in the books, which like stunning Darkling in the books is a bit more problematic. But in the show, he was shown in such a great way. Like, I saw him as a gentleman in a way. Like, he asked for consent. He was a really nice person to Alina for most of the time. He wasn't, but like, he was manipulating her. But at the same time, I do believe that he tried to manipulate her in the beginning, and then he kind of gets caught in the fact that he's starting to have feelings for her, because you can really see that. Like, I don't know if it's just Barnes' choice, but like, you can see like the tears in the Darkling's eyes, like a lot. Like, when she says that, he's not alone, there's like a big moment there. Or when later on, when he has that iconic line of fine, make me your villain, his eyes are like watery as so boy, if you did not want me to stand the villain, don't make him look like that. Don't make him act like that. Because he's so charismatic in it, and you can see that he's so in love with this girl, but at the same time, he just wants to like protect his people and, do everything in his power to like, finally get some justice for all the wrongs that have been done to him and all the people he's lost. And I believe that if Alina did not leave after what Bagra told her, obviously, about his past, I think he could be, in the show at least, in the like show version of the Darkling, I think he could be persuaded to do it Alina's way, to like show the world that Grisha are good by destroying the Fold. I think that is possible, but maybe I am wrong. I don't know. I just loved him because he had so much charisma, and he was owning everything he was in. He was funny and, and charming and just hot. He was so hot. He can get it anytime, okay? He can get it. And then on the other side, we have Mal. And Mal is wholesome, okay? I get it. He's wholesome. He's the best friend. And I completely stand the friendship between Alina and Mal because it's very pure. It's, it comes from a very good place where they grew up together. But oh boy, Mal is a warm noodle. Or that's at least what we call it where I come from. We call people like that warm noodles. He doesn't have any other character traits than loving Malina. that is it. That's his character description, is best friend in love with the main character. That's kind of it. Like, I know he's supposed to be a fighter, etc., but like he's not a very good fighter. He almost gets killed like in every episode. And like I found myself hoping that this would finally be it, that finally this is the time when Mal dies, but I knew there was plot armor protecting him, but he got shot with a machine gun and survived it. He got like shot with an arrow and survived it. He got stabbed and survived it. He got rifted by a Volcra and survived it. Like, there was just so many. Oh, he got like attacked by a Heartrender and survived it. He's just a punching bag. He just takes all the bad things happen to Mal, he takes all of that on his chest. And I understand there's a need for someone like that, someone to protect Alina at all costs, but oh boy, it was very boring for me to watch his storyline. As much as I love all of it, it needed to be there. There was just, Mal was not it for me. I'm sorry. I stand him as a friend, but the whole like romance thing where they like knew each other for so many years and never talked about their feelings, and then they talk about their feelings in the letters, and then when they actually see each other they're like, again, like, oh no, we're just friends, like, ooh, I don't know, I'm afraid to say anything. It's just, oh my god, I can't stand it. It's not a slow burn for me. This is just prolonging the inevitable, and just stop. I don't like Mal. I'm sorry. He's just not very charismatic in comparison to the Darkling. He's just there. He's just there. Also, I have to say that both him and Alina are actually quite annoying sometimes. Like in the beginning, when Alina decides to join Mal because she loves him so much, to go into the Fold, and she burns the maps. Probably there was a better way of doing it. Like, she literally condemned all of her cartography friends to death just so she could get some. And she's a good one. This the way she like also like decides to completely forget about Mal when he like doesn't answer her letters without ever thinking about the fact that they, she's in a palace and she's not the one sending the letters. Like, she gives them to someone to do it for her. She never thought about the fact that maybe they never arrived to him, that maybe they've been hijacked or something. She doesn't think about that. She's just like, oh, he's not answering my letters. Let's just go fuck the hot, edgy Dark Lord. I mean, I would do the same in a way. I mean, I probably wouldn't like erase my best friend out of my life, literally, but I would fuck the Dark Lord. Sorry. So we end up having that love triangle, which kind of doesn't really work because we all know that like she's not gonna end up with the villain. I am very aware of that. Uh, but yeah, it's good. It's good. I don't like Mal, sorry. But let's go move on to the crows. Let's move on to the crows because they are awesome. Oh, I love the crows so much. I think everyone loves the crows. I think this is not a surprise to anyone. But the crows are so good. Oh my god. So, for example, let's compare Mal and Kaz because they both like in love with a girl and they're afraid to admit it, right? So obviously we have Kaz and Inesh, and they both love each other, but they're kind of jumping around the idea. They're kind of a bit afraid to admit it. And oh my god, but Kaz has so much charisma. Kaz has so many other character traits other than being in love with Inesh, you know? He's ruthless, he's super smart, he has all these plans. He's great. I love Kaz. And the way he like meets the Darkling. I know a lot of fans of the books were waiting for that moment because it never happens in the books. Um it was a great moment, the way he outsmarted the Darkling. So cool. And then the way they also take Darkling's courage to run away. Like, yes, please, that was so good. Um yeah, so we have Kaz great. And yes, he's awesome. And then we have Inesh, who's again awesome. She's so good. She's beautiful. She has all these knives, and then she's also religious. But like, it's this. She has this like inner conflict. I love it. I love when characters have inner conflict in them. And we have Jesper. And can we just give a shout out to Kate Young who plays Jesper? Because he really embodied his character. I think I've seen quite a few interviews where the actors were saying that like he's most like his character. And yes, he is. Okay, so I actually know Kate Young. I've met him. I've met him before, and before he got famous, I actually met him in London and had a beer with him, and we danced, and it was nice. It was nice. It was after like a play, so he was in the play, and then after the play, you could like some of the actors were just like hanging around, and you could just chat to them, and yeah, and sometimes you would just end up having a beer with them, So yeah, I know Kit Young and he's lovely, and I'm so happy that he got this role and now everyone knows him as well, because I already knew he was a great actor and a great person and so much fun, and I'm so happy that other people know it now too. But yeah, his Jesper is just amazing. He's probably at the same level or even above the Darkling in terms of charisma, because he's just so out there. I know he's like a comic relief most of the time, but I love him. I love him. He's like little romance with the stable boy, so cute. And Milo, his relationship with Milo is the best ship of all of them. Okay, Milo supremacy. Yes, I stand Milo. So yeah, Jesper's the best. Jesper's the best. I love him so much. Him and the Darkling are definitely my favorite characters in this show. And just his skill with the revolvers as well, like the guns, so good. My boy's so good. Yes, so big shout out to Kid for bringing Jesper to life. And yes, the crows are great. So I love that. And yes, what else? The story, like spoiler wise, I quite like it. I like the way it unfolds. I love the heist. And I love the ending. When the Darkling comes out of the fold and he has these like shadows following him, and he just stares around and says follow. I was like, okay, I will. I am ready. So I'm really hoping for season 2 because that was just so good. I think Netflix did an awesome job of adapting this book. I haven't read the book, but once again, but if there's a show that's adapted from a book and it really grasps me to the point where I really want to read the book to find out more about this world, I think it's been done right. I believe that's the way to go. And I've heard from people that it's actually even better than the book. So, oh my god, what an achievement. This doesn't happen often, that the show is better than the book, right? So, yes. Yes, Netflix. Please keep doing this. Because you didn't do such a good job with The Witcher. Maybe the budget was not as big for The Witcher as it was for Shadow and Bone. Because I'm Polish, and The Witcher is like one of my favorite book series of all time. I loved it. So, and Shadow and Bone was better produced. But that's fine. That's fine. Maybe they'll do better for Witcher season 2. Anyways, go watch both of those shows. They're great. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think that's pretty much it. I loved it. I loved every single moment of it. I love the scene in the train with Milo. Obviously, it's probably one of the best scenes in that whole show. The episode 5 with Winter Feast or Winterfett. I don't remember how to pronounce that, but that little ball thing. Yes. Yes. That whole episode was just so good. Like the relationship between Alina and the Darkling in that episode, amazing. And there's this probably the most beautiful shot in the whole show is in that moment as well, where in that episode where they're in the room and there's a scene where they like standing um opposite of each other and there's shadows on the wall next to them and leaning into each other. It's so well done. That is such a beautiful shot. My little like cinematography nerd in me was jumping out of joy when she saw it. I was like, oh my god, that is so pretty. Anyways, yeah, the costumes amazing. Yes, oh my god, I really want a kefta. I want a kefta. They look so pretty. But yes. Anyways, let's finish this. Let's finish this. I've been talking for like half an hour now. And yes, I'll promise I will read the books, and maybe then I'll film a little video of what I thought of the books in comparison to the show. But I love the show, and you should watch it. Please watch it. And we can talk about it if anyone watches this video, which I'm not really hoping for, because this is the first video that I'm posting. So if I'm kind of sure that maybe like 10 people will watch it. But if you're watching it, please let me know down below. What did you think about it, and whether you stan Mal or the Darkling? And please don't put any hate in there, because I don't have anything against people who stan Mal, because I understand it. It's very wholesome. Their relationship is wholesome, so like no hate please. But just like tell me why, tell me what you think about it. Like I love to hear people's opinions. It's so much fun, and I love talking about things that I'm passionate about. So yes, let's do it. And once again, watch the show.